All right, we're here at the All-State Playoff Predictors. We shift back to college football, and it's time to play with a little bit of chaos, right? It's rivalry week. Stranger things have happened. So what if Ohio State, top-ranked, what if they lose on the road at Ann Arbor to Michigan? Their chances drop 95 to 85. And you're like, well, it's just the one loss and drop 10%. That's fine. Same for Clemson. Clemson's on the road at a South Carolina team that's already beaten a top, 4 team in Georgia, right? At the time, it was on the road, it was in the rain, it was between the hedges. So Clemson, if they just trip up, stub their toe, they lose one skinny little game, what happens to their chances? 88 to 29. So a loss for Ohio State drops it 10 points. A loss for Clemson drops it darn near 60. That's the bad side of this. Let's get to the good side of our morning. Nicole?
Oh, I'm assuming you're talking about me then, Randolph, right? The good side of the morning?
Obviously.
Good morning to David Pollack. Look, I am all 4 games in the frozen tundra, and that's exactly what we're going to get today in Minnesota. So quick question, how many layers are you wearing?
Right now, not as many as we'll have during the show.
Exactly.
During the show, we'll be a lot more layered up. Right now, it's just tip of the iceberg. But we got some long john shirt. We got the shirt, the tie, the scarf. We got a lot going on.
All right. Look, rivalry week gives us not only Wisconsin and Minnesota, but also that little game between Auburn and Alabama, too. So far, Mac Jones, the relatively new Alabama quarterback, as a starter, has seen Arkansas and Western Carolina. Now he gets Auburn. So what can Alabama do game plan-wise to help him out today?
Yeah, Nicole, there's no easing him into it now. Those preseason games are definitely over, and you're going against one of the best defensive lines and a couple of the best players up front with Brown, with big Derek Brown and big Marlon Davis. And those are large, massive human beings. That Alabama's old school way of just running the football and pounding, that doesn't work against this group. They're too good. They're too physical. So it's going to have to be the playmakers on the outside. And you've seen a little bit of a shift when it comes to Alabama's offense over the years with Tua, and you've seen more big-time playmakers, big-time passes, and Mac Jones has proven he can throw the football, he can make good reads, find his weapons down the field. You can't just pound Auburn like Alabama used to pound people years and years and years ago. You're still going to have to throw the football near the line of scrimmage, take shots down the field, keep them off balance. Mac Jones, I think, will be ready for this contest, but will Bo Nix be ready on the other side?
That is a good question. Dude, we got to get to your dude of the week. Friendly reminder, what is a dude, and then who is it?
A dude is somebody that you watch on tape and you're just like, man, that guy hunts the whole game. He looks like he hasn't eaten. He didn't get to go to Thanksgiving, Nicole, okay? He's still hungry and still looking for his food. And the dude of the week is Antoine Whitfield Jr. This guy is amazing. You watch him play center field for Minnesota. Super great instincts. He's got 7 INTs on the season. You can blitz him, bring him down the box. Watch him just slide through people and find a way to get to the quarterback. Quarterback's still on the ground because that hurt really bad. And then his ability to play kind of corner, too. Watch this. Flip his hips, turn, run. 50-50 ball equals my ball. Give me thems. Antoine Whitfield Jr., you know about his dad, played in the NFL for a long time. He's one of the best safeties, playmakers in all of college football. We'll need a big day from him today to win.
Yeah, senior played 14 seasons in the NFL with the Bills and the Vikings. There's just a whole bunch of Minnesota love happening. We'll see you on game day, 9 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN.
Double run. Hey, back to college football here. The Iron Bowl storylines aplenty. Once again, so much on the line with War Eagle and Roll Tide. Bama entering the game with a 47% chance to make the college football playoff. That's according to the All-State Playoff Predictor. That chance falls to 2% if Bama loses today. Under guest Malzahn, Auburn has 3 home wins against AP top 5 opponents, including 2 against Alabama. It's tied with Ohio State for the most in the FBS since 2013. All eyes on Mac Jones for the Tide. Redshirt sophomores completed 82% of his passes, 510 yards, 6 touchdowns, no turnovers in his only 2 starts, but he gets a test against Auburn today. Trevor Maddich breaking down that matchup.
As Auburn studies Mac Jones on tape, they won't be impressed with his flashy numbers. Instead, they'll see opportunities to exploit. For example, this play looked beautiful on television, but Auburn will sit in the meeting room and think, please do this against us. And another look shows why. First, he stares down the receiver. And second, he's late with the throw. Watch his feet. Ba-doop, 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 ba-doop. Those cheat steps means that the timing throw comes out late. And against Western Carolina, it doesn't really matter, but Auburn will be a lot closer to his receiver. Speaking of which, this looks beautiful in the box score. But in the meeting room, Auburn will see a ball thrown short that delays the receiver. and they know they'll be a step closer than this Arkansas defender was, in position to either knock it away or intercept it. Now, recognition. This can't possibly be Mac Jones' fault, right? Well, kind of is. The running back is out on an option route, so there's no one in this protection to account for these two blitzers. Quarterback needs to know that. Tight end knows it. He runs down and gets in position for a quick throw to beat that blitz. But Jones is still waiting for the option route to develop, unaware of what's happening behind it. He's not on the same page with his protection. Now, Jones has the talent to be a hero in this game, but in order to pull it off, he's got to speed up his recognition and tighten up his timing and accuracy, because this is a major step up in competition.
Look, this crown has been on my head for a while now. Yeah. The jealousy is real, because there have been a lot of hurt words thrown at me. A lot.
You guys tried to adjust my
But it's okay.
Win-loss record.
Just remember what Queen Elizabeth I once said. Men fight wars.
Yeah, they do.
Women win them. And Georgia is going to do some winning today. They're going to do it by allowing no more than 15 points to Georgia Tech.
Nice tree branch again. I, for one, was stunned that your Bama pick against Western Carolina came through for you last week.
All about strategy.
I'm going to pick a Bama game myself. Give me the under in the Iron Bowl. 49.5 seems too high for an unproven quarterback in Mac Jones against a great defense and a little bit of a shakier quarterback Bo Nix here in the second half of the season. That thing is going to look ridiculous on my head, my mascot-size head, because that's designed for an average-sized human head. And I stopped having one of those.
Average or just like growing by the second?
I'm gonna win.
Drunk with. I'm a little jealous. One, game day is visiting Minnesota for the first time ever, like forever, ever.
Huh.
And B, I don't like to be cold. However, I love to watch football in the snow, and it is supposed to snow today in Minnesota. Game day, 9 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN. Desmond Howard will be a part of that show. He's our show now, and it's time for his MVP. So a quick reminder, the M is for the matchup that he's most focused on, the V is for the most vulnerable team today, and the P is for the player to watch. Desmond, give me your M.
Okay, Nicole, well, the matchup that I'm looking forward to today is a little game in the Midwest we call the game, Ohio State versus Michigan. Focusing on Ohio State's offense now, Nicole, this group is #1 in the nation in scoring, averaging 49 points a game. They're going up against a Don Brown defense that they undressed in Columbus a year ago. I call this Ryan Day versus Don Brown Part 2. I think this is going to be epic, so make sure you keep an eye on Ohio State's offense, led by Justin Fields and J.K. Dobbins, against Michigan's defense. The vulnerable team just might be the team in the Iron Bowl called the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, they're favored in this game against Auburn, but they're starting a quarterback named Mac Jones, who doesn't have a lot of experience, going up against the best defense he's seen all year long. Now, he has a lot of weapons around him. He gets Jerry Jeudy. He has Najee Harris, but this man's going to have to go up against a defensive front that's going to put pressure on him for 4 quarters. Alabama just might be vulnerable. And the player I want to keep an eye on, young man by the name of Tanner Morgan, the quarterback from Minnesota. All the talk is about Justin Fields, Ohio State's quarterback. He's having a fantastic season. But Tanner Morgan is quietly putting together a magical season himself. He leads the conference in passing yards per game at 243, and he's only thrown 5 interceptions on the season. If they beat Wisconsin today, he's going to go head-to-head, toe-to-toe in the Big Ten championship game against Ohio State and Justin Fields. Keep an eye on Tanner Morgan. That boy is playing fantastic football so far.
Minnesota has a chance to make a whole lot of noise, and I'm not just talking about during game day. I'm talking about the whole college football playoff scene. You can see game day, 9 a.m. Eastern from Minnesota right here on ESPN. Into town along with the Tide. This will be the first time since 2011 where the winner of the Iron Bowl is not going to represent the West in the SEC championship game. But we do want to remind you of what happened in that 2011 season. #1 LSU, they beat Georgia in the SEC championship game, which set up a rematch with Alabama, who finished #2 in the BCS standings. Alabama got revenge for its regular season loss by beating LSU 21-0 to claim the national title. I just have a feeling that Tide fans are hoping for a repeat of all of that this season. Good morning, Tim Tebow. Look, there's a lot that's different for Alabama right now because Mac Jones is making the biggest start of his career today, taking on Auburn. So what is the biggest challenge that he's going to face today?
Well, I think you got to start with the big boys up front. That's this defensive line at Auburn. I think they're the best in the country, specifically Derek Brown and Marlon Davidson. These two players have won 7 defensive linemen of the award of this year already. That's insane. They've won 7 defensive linemen of the week this year. That is absolutely insane. But the one thing that Auburn does that could help a young quarterback in Mac Jones, they play man-to-man coverage. Guess what? When you're a young quarterback, you don't want to see a bunch of fancy zones because now I got to make a lot of decisions and I got to sit in the pocket and read it. But when they're playing man-to-man coverage, now I find my best matchup. And against Alabama, you have a lot of good matchups. You have Jerry Jeudy, you have Henry Ruggs, you have all these great receivers. You can find a good matchup, and I think that could really help Alabama.
He's played Western Carolina and Arkansas, but this is also his first start on the road.
Yeah, those aren't the same.
No,
a little bit different.
Definitely not the same. Number 4, Georgia, doesn't have a whole lot of room for error over the next couple of weeks. But here's the thing. Now they're going to be without their leading receiver in Lawrence Cager because he hurt his ankle this week in practice. How significant of an injury is this for Georgia?
I think it's drastic. I think the number one problem they've had this year is they haven't really had receivers that could separate, and they haven't been able to do it in big-time games. I think that's really hurt the offense. They got a great offensive line. They got a great quarterback. They got a great running game. You don't have receivers that can win man-to-man coverage, and now you lost by far your best receiver in Cager. So this is where someone's going to have to step up. If Georgia's going to win the SEC championship and contend for a national championship, George Pickens, Blaylock, Robertson, they have to step up and be that guy. There's still a chance for them because their defense is also one of the best in the country, just like Auburn is right here.
They have a chance, at least today, to test the waters without him because it's Georgia Tech. But keep in mind, they have a date with LSU in the SEC championship game that is next Saturday on December the 7th. Good day, sir.